2 is still
Iron Man
the
2
best.
really is the hidden gem of the MCU.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Tinfoil Shed Pod. It's episode 5, I believe. Go and check us out on Spotify and Apple. And this week, I hope you've been keeping up chronologically. I know at least one of my friends has, because only one person has told me about the podcast. But we have been making our favourite top 10 lists that the movies aren't allowed to be on the IMDB top 100 lists. And today, we've put them all on a tier list, and we are going to rank them. Does that sound good, Barney?
I can't wait.
Woo! Well, let me share screen. Share. I might leave this in. I'm a bit lazy. Can you see that, Barney?
Yes.
If I'm going to post this on YouTube, do you want us to take away our video? Or do you want us to be in the corner?
You can be in the corner, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be involved in any part of this project, to be honest. I want complete deniability.
Nah, I don't know how to do it, so you're staying. Right, so this is a tier list, and there's both of our top 10 films. We both had The Boat That Rocked on there, so that's only in there once. And I forgot to put La La Land on, I've just realised. So first, I think we should rank La La Land. Because I haven't put it in. And also, it's GOAT A, B, C, D, but the GOAT actually has That's For You, Harry, next to it, because he listened to last week's podcast and told me he never heard me use the word GOAT before, and asked me if I knew what it meant, proving to me that Harry has not listened to or watched any of the tier lists that I've been making since about November last year. Because I've used GOAT in every single one of them. So that's a little shout out.
Wise decision on his part.
It is, to be fair, I can't knock him. But that's a little shout out to Harry. Do you know what GOAT stands for?
I thought it was goat, just like the animal.
Oh.
No, I have no idea what it stands for.
GOAT. He did tell me, I can't remember. Something of all time? Guest of all time? GOAT of all time, we're going to call it. He did tell me, and now I feel awkward because I can't remember. So we've got GOAT of all time. We've got A, B, C, and D. So where would you put La La Land? We'll throw off with that one.
For me, I wouldn't put it above B.
Wow.
But that's because I haven't watched it properly recently, and I feel like it just it's a good film, but it's not my kind of good film.
Well, I would put it in GOAT, G for Oat. So we'd have to compromise there and maybe put it in A or B. Because I think
I'm happy to put it in A.
A. Well, boop. La La Land goes in A. I can just pick randomly from the bottom, or I can just still go in order. What do you want to do?
Just go random.
Random. We'll go with Shaun of the Dead.
A.
A. I would also agree A. This was on your list, but I could easily have put it on mine as well. It's his first proper work. I know that he directed like Spaced and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think this was his debut movie. And for a debut movie, this is absolutely amazing. So I'm happy to put it in A.
It's launched the craze of a lot of people in that film as well.
That is true.
It launched the craze, even if it didn't launch the craze, it gave him a serious boost.
Yeah, that's fair. And there's way more people in that film than you'd even think. Coming off the back
Bill
of us record... What?
Bill Nye's in that
Bill
film.
Nye, Martin Freeman's in that film.
You know what I realised about Bill Nye? The first film that I ever saw Bill Nye in was is it Alex Rider Stormbreaker or something?
Oh, God. A good film. Better books.
In that film, he plays like a very serious MI6 man.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my 10-year-old brain just typecast him as a very serious MI6 man from the rest of the time.
Oh, man.
So every time I see him in a film, where he's often playing a very charismatic, like, likable character, I'm always shocked. Every time.
I'm trying to think what I first saw him in. That's very strange. It was most likely Shaun of the Dead, not going to lie. And even in that, he's not exactly charismatic, so...
No.
Looking in the camera... someone recently told me, and by recently I mean like before lockdown, like in March, that I have no top lip. And it's really upset me. And I'm just looking at the camera now and I'm just realising how I have no lips. I'm thinking of getting lip fillers. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
I think, like, look at it. Like, I have lips. But then like when I smile, it's just all teeth. Look at that. It looks like I'm making a joke and lifting up my lip. So
You know
whoever
when a dog snarls when you're trying to take its treat away?
Fuck off.
That's what you look like when you're smiling.
That's awful. Whoever pointed that out to me, I just want you to know that you ruined the rest of my life.
Ruined all those childhood pictures where you're doing
All those-
ridiculous poses.
All those. Well, when I have lip fillers next episode, you'll understand why. But carrying on from Bill Nye, something that was in both of our lists, but I can't remember if it was like changed mid-episode or if I've got this wrong. But we both had The Boat That Rocked.
I think we're both gonna put that in GOAT.
Oh yeah, 100% putting it in GOAT. Again with Bill Nye, lots of the same characters in these universes. We talked about it like in
It's
length
almost
last
as
two
if actors
podcasts.
play many different people.
But have you seen the thing about Army Hammer? Army Hammer. Do you know who he is?
No.
So he was in what's the one with Timothy Chalamet? Call Me by Your Name. He's the older man that falls in love with Timothy Chalamet, and basically it came out that he had like a cannibal kink. Like he liked to like suck blood during sex or something like he had like he either was a cannibal or it was like his kink sort of thing or like his fetish. And like the whole internet was like laughing about it, obviously. But then yesterday, I don't know why this came into my head, but then yesterday, his publicist and his agent dropped him.
Oh, is he eating someone?
I think he's eating someone. Because like if your publicist would stick with you through a cannibal kink but drop you afterwards, I think he's eating someone. So something can't be right there. I've seen lots on TikTok that that's been going on.
Man, just got to be careful out there. Don't get eaten.
I just what's that episode of the IT Crowd, isn't it, where you turn up for a Tinder date or whatever? Like, what's for dinner? You. So that came to my mind because I saw a tweet and it was something about actors playing lots of different people, and Armie Hammer was like one of the people in it. But yes, The Boat That Rocked is a fantastic film, and there's a website called Prop Masters, which you can buy props from films, and I keep wanting to buy all like lots of their clothes are on this prop website. I think it's like the jacket he got married in, one of the characters, that's like 500 quid. Which I don't think's bad because it's like tailor made.
I know you can get one of them in Primark for like £4. Just saying.
Is Primark open again? No. Do you remember when, I don't know if you know, because I don't know if you have a Primark near you, but when it opened again after lockdown, the lines were like down the high street for it, and they opened like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Mad.
I don't know who needs to be in Primark at 4 in the morning.
I'd like to.
I
feel like that's the only time. Yeah, I think that's the only time I'd want to go. Would be at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
imagine if IKEA was 24 hours.
Yeah, that would be good.
Imagine if we were just bored at like 2 a.m. You're like, oh, do you want to drive to IKEA?
Yeah.
Like, that would be like, what is 24 hours Mackey's and Tesco's?
Capitalism.
Anyway, the Le Grand Budapest Hotel.
Ooh,
I would put this in A. There we go. Yeah, probably one of the favorites of Wes Anderson. I would also throw out there Fantastic Mr. Fox and Royal Tenenbaums. While we're here, we have Fantastic Mr. Fox as well. Do you think it's better, worth, or on par?
I think I would put it in B.
See, I had Fantastic Mr. Fox. You had Grand Budapest Hotel. I'll happily put it in B.
Grand Budapest Hotel is the most refined Wes Anderson film in terms of what makes Wes Anderson. That
is fair. I do think I do love Fantastic Mr. Fox, and it is probably one of my more favorite of the films. But I think as a film, the Grand Budapest Hotel is like leaps and bounds ahead of most. 100%. Let's just go. We'll go for one that you haven't seen. Black Swan. Where do you want to put it? This is a really, really good film. I'd put it in A.
I'll go on then. I'll support you 100%.
It made me cry, and there's only like 4 or 5 films on this list that made me cry.
So that is
So
50% of your list.
yeah, the 50% of my list is I'll start right. I didn't cry at any of the ones apart from Black Swan here, but I will keep you up to date. Because I chose that one because you haven't seen it. We'll go with no, because well, Paddington 2. I was going to say we'll let you choose one, but we both know that's going in GOAT.
Yeah, that's good.
We both know that that's going right at the top.
I can't think of a better film.
I've not seen Howl's Moving Castle, so I'll let you choose where this goes.
Ooh, I would put it in A.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm starting to think this is a bit of a silly tier list because we've chosen our top 10 best films and then we're like ranking them. Of course, they're all going to be in GOAT because they're our favourite films. I suppose what we're supposed to be doing is ranking them against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
think Howl's Moving Castle is my favorite Ghibli film.
Okay, fair. I need to start watching more.
How the vibe that Ghibli gives off, I think Howl's Moving Castle does it the best. Apart
Huh?
from maybe My Neighbor Totoro, but that's I think Howl's Moving Castle it's just a more clear narrative.
I do see a lot of like TikToks and tweets about Studio Ghibli, and I really want to get into like the whole aesthetic of it.
Just do it. Just watch some. You're a film student.
I know. I probably could use it in most of my essays. Right. So now we understand that we're all ranking them against each other. I'm trying to think of a film that's maybe. So let's go with 500 Days of Summer. And you've not seen this. I also cried at this. This is a film. It's again one of my favorites, and I think it's well done. I think it's really well written. For the purposes of this list, I'm going to put it in C. Purely because there's a few films on here that have been like so meticulously well written and performed that they have to outclass this. Although I think it's a really good story and it's really fun. Looking back at it, there is like films here that I think did do it better.
Also, a lot of films that are our favorites. The reason that we like them so much, it's for reasons otherwise than them being good film. So,
100%, yeah.
Objectively, this is how we're trying to rank this list. Well, in my head, objectively,
Yeah.
Subjectively, it would be different.
Because here's one that I don't really know where to put. Rogue One. Because it's a good film, and I think it is well made. It's my favourite of the Star Wars, but it's nowhere near my favourite than any of the others on this list.
I would put it in C.
Yeah, same. Like, it's good. It's the best of the Star Wars, but that's not difficult.
Yeah.
Like, do you think here's a fun question that I always see on Reddit. Do you think you could genuinely make a good Star Wars film? A lot of people think they could.
I think it would be easy.
If you were given the resources and none of the pushback from Disney, you could make whatever film you wanted with a 300 mil budget.
I think to make a good Star Wars film, you have to have no interest in Star Wars.
Ah.
Because Star Wars films trip themselves up by all the fan service and ridiculous callbacks and nonsense. That's what weakens them. Same problem with Harry Potter.
Oh, interesting. See, as much as I keep up with Star Wars, I wouldn't call myself that much of a Star Wars fan because I'm not really into the lore and all that sort of stuff.
I think you'd have to have a good director.
Yeah.
And then surround them with Star Wars nerds that they can just ask a question, just to keep the continuity.
Yeah.
But I think you'd have if it was written as a film and then almost adapted into the Star Wars universe, I think that would make a better Star Wars film than most Star Wars films.
Interesting. Very interesting. I agree. I can't go against that.
And then you'd have to somehow stop George Lucas from remaking it.
Editing in a load of CGI bonthers or banthers, whatever they're called.
This is, but to be fair, it's how he always envisioned it. It's just the limitations of technology at the time.
Sometimes the limitations are there for a reason.
And then the 2000s roll around. CGI is at its peak. He thinks this is the perfect time to add banthers, weird singing aliens that the lips zoom into the camera.
You know, the rock that covers R2-D2.
See, that would never have been possible.
Why did he do that? It was like, how did R2D2 get in there now? I don't get it. Oh, sorry.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
That was a very nerdy conversation. Right, we're gonna go with Okja. Again, you've not seen it?
I was about to watch that this afternoon, but I decided not to.
But I cut you off.
Yeah.
Okja is obviously by Bong Joon-ho, and it's the story. Basically, it's the story of farming. We described it in our other podcasts, so like you'll know what it's about. This is because obviously Bong Joon-ho's also done Snowpiercer, Parasite. He's done a few others. And is this my favorite out of those? Probably not. I'd probably all of his films are very, very big contenders. But out of everything on this list, I don't know where to put it. It's between A and B, and I'm more skewing towards B. Because it's still
B, then we can always move it.
It's still like it's still a really, really good film, and it's still full of all the allegories of all those other films. But for some reason, it just doesn't feel right that it sits at the top with like Parasite. Because Parasite is like, you seen Parasite, haven't you?
No, that's also
Fuck that. That's definitely on the top 100. But
as soon as I finish learning Korean, I'm straight into it.
You actually learned Korean?
Apparently, no, I am. Yeah. I'm committed to it.
This will be a funny bit, Barney, if you fully learn Korean. Did you see, right? There's a TikTok, right? And I saw it today. And these two lesbians adopt a child from Asia, but they were really, really concerned because they couldn't, like, they were just going to whitewash the kids and, like, not really give it any much of its heritage. But they lived in New York, which obviously had quite a big, like, Chinese scene and lots of culture. Yeah. So they take them for food. They do a holiday every few years to China. And like they made friends with this Chinese couple, so he sort of had like an aunt and uncle who could be like the child's like influence from that culture. And then when he was going off to college, he needed some paperwork, so they were going through and they found his birth certificate. And what do you think they found on that birth certificate?
Tell me.
He was Korean. He was fucking Korean, and they'd whitewashed him with the wrong culture.
Oh, man, I suppose that just goes to show. I know I appreciate the importance of culture and heritage, but man,
it's all made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I do respect that they tried to give him the culture, and like it is important. I do think that like that's good, but how did they get that wrong? How?
I mean, maybe it's just from my point of view. I have no connection with my for me being British,
Scottish, aren't you?
It
Kenyan.
That has no impact on my identity or anything like that. So when people get really caught up in, their like ancestors, especially when you hear Americans talk about you can follow their lineage back to the Mayfair. What was the first?
Oh yeah. Oh, because loads of Americans are like, I'm Irish or like I'm Scottish.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're not, you're American.
Yeah. It's like I've seen that video of John Boyega. He's been interviewed by an American, and the American goes, "Oh, a lot of Americans are shocked that you don't have an American accent, considering that you're African American." And he goes, "No, I'm English, but I'm British and I'm just black." And the interviewer is kind of taken aback by the idea that African American is more of an American concept than skin color.
What the fuck? Yeah. They are mad. Americans are mad. If I have any American listeners, Americans are mad. What the hell? Wait, are you not African American?
And he's like, no, I'm just black.
Oh, like again, I saw another TikTok today. Some things they don't have in America. They don't have kettles. On the whole, they normally wear their shoes inside the house. Apparently, because this TikTok was basically from an American living in Europe, and he was like, "These are all the things that shock me about Europe. That we have like places to put our shoes when we come in." Because they just wear their shoes around the house. I was like, weird. They don't have hallways. Like their front door goes straight into the living room. And when you think about American TV shows, it's true.
Yeah.
They don't have hallways. They have like they might upstairs, but normally it's quite open plan. Like
Yeah.
here's the living room, the front door, here's the kitchen, the blah blah blah.
Well, I suppose a lot of American houses are quite new with more modern influences.
Another thing, well, I think stupid. You're much more charismatic. What's the word? I don't know what it is than me being nice. And then all their houses are made out of cardboard. You know that plasterboard shit. But like, when I was a kid, I used to always think like, how do these people always punch holes in walls?
Yeah.
And I realized they're not even made of brick; they're just paper.
I always think about. I would just be worried in case I tripped over when my shoes inside the house or my shoelaces, and you just fall through the wall into someone else's
Just
bedroom.
straight into next door.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Yeah,
And
no,
especially when like you get these houses made built on like the tornado corridor
yeah.
where they have loads of tornadoes, and they'll just get, and then like, every few years people have to rebuild the house. Like, oh, there it goes.
Like, is it better to have a cheap, flimsy house to blow away and rebuild such cheap? Or is it better to have like a solid house that will be harder to repair, but probably not as much? Like, which is better
Yeah.
there? I don't really know.
Yeah, but
You know what
do
else I wouldn't? What?
I was going to say, do you know a fun little piece of information?
Go on.
And like in Britain, most people have their wash machines in the kitchen.
Yeah.
In other parts of the world, they keep them in like the toilets, or they have like a special, like a separate room where they keep the washing machine and the dryer and all that stuff. Because in Britain, most houses are predate sort of what the water systems going into the house and plumbing.
Ah, shit.
So when plumbing was added into the house, it was taken into the kitchen. So washing machines were plumbed into the kitchen because that's where the water was.
Right.
Then, in other parts of the world, when they planned ahead, they thought, oh, well, when they could like plan the plumbing networks before the house was built, they could choose where to put the washing machines and all those accessories.
But so what do you think's better? Because in my head, I'm like, I still think I'd rather have it in the kitchen. But I don't know if that's us being biased that we've grown up with that. But I'm like, I wouldn't want it in the bathroom. Because imagine you want to take like a big shit, like a proper 20-30 minute poo where you want to just sit and enjoy yourself, or have like a proper shower. And someone's like knocking on the door like, oh, I need to get the washing out. I don't know. A separate room, maybe. My grandma has a separate room, but it's next to the kitchen.
Yeah, some people have like the laundry rooms, I think they're called.
I call you a Tory if you have that.
Yeah, if you got a laundry room, watch out because your days are numbered.
If
we're comes, you'll be first to go.
If we're eating the rich and I don't learn that you have a laundry room, oh boy, I'm gonna army out of your ass. I'm not quite sure how we got there, but we did. So shall we move on to the next film?
Yep.
I'll go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'll let you have the reins on this one.
I'm putting that in A.
A, fair enough. I would put it a little bit lower, but I can understand why you'd put it in A.
There's something about the feeling, the atmosphere of the film.
That's just who you want to be, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just the energy of it is. I can't. It's so hard to put into words.
That's good for a podcast. Yep. Right, we'll move on. I'm gonna go with Being John Malkovich, and I would also put this in A. I think A because it's a very well written, very well directed. Like it's overall a really clever, thoughtful, well made movie. But I don't think it has our personal what's the word? Nostalgia to go in GOAT, and I don't think it quite has that one quirk that put it in GOAT. So that's why I'm putting it in A. I'm gonna close my eyes and pick another one. This one. It is Chef. Have you seen Chef?
Nope.
I'm gonna put it in B. Because it is, like I said in the other podcast, I think this might be one of the most well-written films ever. But the reason I'm not putting it any higher is because it's not too complicated, and that's not the fault of it. Like, it does what it does really, really well. It's quite funny, like, who he picks to be like his wife is like a supermodel. And he goes, "Oh, like in the last year, I've accidentally put." I was like, I was a model a year ago. Now I've put on like 14 stone. It's like John
Happens to the
Favreau.
best of us.
So like, I'm gonna put it in B. It is probably my most feel good film. I was gonna say I'd keep you up to date. I did cry at both Okja and Chef. So fantastic film, but that's where I'm gonna put it. But I've done a lot of talking, so I'm gonna let you rip with Superbad.
Ooh, I think that should go on B.
B, fair enough. Explain.
It, it, I think I'm stopping it going higher in terms that it is
Because of the drug
very,
use.
yeah, the drug use. After watching this film, I nearly overdosed on crack cocaine because I thought it was okay to do drugs.
Happens to the best of us.
Yep. But I'm not going to stop trying. I'm not going to give up.
This is really heartfelt.
No.
Oh, so I fucking laugh. I'm gonna start laughing like this. My lips annoying me. Sorry.
Just forget about it.
I'm having my.
Or just-
I can't forget about it.
Or just get lip fillers.
Look at that. It looks like I'm going. It's fucking awful.
Next podcast, you're gonna be wearing lipstick and like filling it in. Yeah, Superbad. I wouldn't put it higher because it is a product of its time, sort of thing, and
it is a very good
like,
film.
It is really good.
I need to rewatch it.
It is really funny.
Compared to, I mean, this may be already answered because you put it on your top 10 list, but compared to like This Is the End and all those other movies, is this your favourite?
Yep.
I can't remember. What other ones have they done? They've done Superbad, This Is the End,
Pineapple Express,
Pineapple Express.
The Interview. The
The Interview's fucking great. I did enjoy The Interview.
You cry at The Interview.
I did cry. No. See, to be fair, with The Interview, I suppose that was sort of a.
Forget about The Interview because of everything that surrounded it.
Yeah, well, I think that, like you were saying, I think that's also a product of its time. It's just a different time. That's a very like, if you were like, what's a 2010s comedy? If you were like, what's a 2000s comedy? I'd point you at Superbad. But if you were like, what's a 2010s comedy? I'd point you at The Interview.
Yeah,
like,
I think
yeah,
that a lot of. I know it's like it's very hard to say that living in the times, but I think the 2010s are going to be fairly weak for looking back on, like, nostalgia wise.
Oh, really?
Because that's when, especially when social media and the internet really, really took off, and everything.
But you not think that we'll have even more nostalgia, but for like YouTube and shit?
I don't know, but because I think nostalgia, when you look back to the 80s and 90s, there was a consensus of what was popular in what, everybody knew what was popular. Everyone listened to the same top 40 on the radio.
Yeah.
2010s, it became so decentralized and pick and mix culture. Everyone was just taking what they wanted. There's going to be no consensus over what to be nostalgic over.
Very interesting. You should be doing my course.
Maybe One Direction. I don't think we're ever going to be able to get away from that.
I'd still argue they're the 2000s. No,
they were
the 2010s. Maybe at the beginning of the 2010s, we still had more of that.
Yeah.
When I think the 2010s, I think mostly of the years 2010 to 2012. Like, we had the Olympics, Inception, One Direction, Geek t-shirts from Topshop. Like, have you seen that with Topshop closing?
No.
So Topman and Topshop have shut down and been bought by ASOS. So I think that means that all their clothes are now going online. So it's just going to be like, there's going to be no physical department stores anymore. Doesn't really affect me. I didn't really buy from those types of shops, but I feel like it definitely affects like a lot of people in the UK. Like,
yeah, the people that are going to Primark at 4 in the morning are going to be devastated by this news.
Topshop is definitely above Primark. 100%. I remember my first year of uni used to be not every night out. This doesn't make me sound like rich, but like every night out, I'd go and buy like a new shirt from Topman, but like the shirt would be like $7.99, and and like they were always cheap and nasty. But like instead of getting like a few drinks in the first bar, I'd have go and buy a nice shirt for the night out.
That is such a weird thing
Yeah,
for someone to do,
I just wanted to look.
especially a first year university student.
Just wanted to look.
Really going to uni, getting their teeth into the uni lifestyle. You know, that is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what to take away from that.
Like, because obviously there was like a few nights out where, I mean, when we were in Scotland, Barney, we bought shirts for a night out. That's because we were falsely advertised the type of venue we were going to.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, there was something about it. I was just like, yeah, I wanted to go out and buy a new shirt, and I'd like not have a few. I'd like, because I'd have like, I was very well budgeted in first shirt. I don't know where that went, but I used to have like, right, here's £100 for this week for food and for, so I'd be like, right, here's 50 quid for food for this week, and then here's 50 quid for me to spend. So then I'd be like, right, I'm taking 30 on a night out. I'm gonna spend £8.99 of it on a shirt, and then like I used to carry all the cash. And I don't do that anymore. I don't think I've touched cash in about, because of COVID as well. I haven't touched cash in about 2 years.
Have you thought about the impact that contactless has had on homeless people?
Actually, yes, we did talk about it in a lecture once.
Because they're like, unless they've got card readers,
oh no, there's so many times now where a homeless person asks me, and I'm not even being a dick. I genuinely have no change.
Yeah,
like I don't carry cash.
Yeah, I used to be the opposite. I used to have like exclusively cash because I never used to have like money in my bank.
I didn't get. I think I got Apple Care in second year of uni. Apple Care, Apple Pay in second year of uni. Well, I didn't iPod Touch until fucking second year of uni. And you can't get Apple Pay on iPod Touches. But yeah, like I used to. But thing is though, cash is so good for budgeting, because I know you can get like these Monzo cards now where like
I got one of them.
Yeah, where you put like a certain amount of money on and like blah blah blah. But like
I got one for because you can use them abroad.
Oh shit! Yeah, they're free to get, aren't they?
Not, I don't know, because I think they were free to get, but they changed the policy. So if you lose your card, you have to like spend a £5 for a new one.
I mean, that's.
But I think the first time you get them, they're probably free.
Because I know like you can get those sort of things. And I used to know people that would put like 20 quid on the card, and then take the card out, but then they'd also have like 30 quid in cash in the pocket.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you spent 20 quid last night. And you're like, yeah, on your card. But that's why I like cash, because I wouldn't take like, this is probably really irresponsible looking back in case anything went wrong. But I wouldn't take my card out with me. I'd only take the 30 or 40 quid in cash.
Yeah.
So then that's all I could spend. And at the end of that money, I'd always do it. So say I had 40 quid, I'd buy an £8 shirt, 20 or 30 quid drinks, and I'd always keep a £5 just in case we got a taxi. And like I used to always stick to that every single night out, and I just don't know where that budgeting went. Like after foundation year,
yeah. What did happen to that?
I don't know. That I saved so much. I mean, I used to also hop the metro, so probably saved a bit of money. But like, see, that was a year. Sorry to go on a tangent for everyone listening, but that was a year I always talk about with a few of my friends. Like, I used to budget really well because I lived in Gateshead. I used to walk for like miles and miles every day just to go to my friends' houses or even uni. So I was really skinny. Like, foundation, I'd say 2017, 18. I think 2018, best year of my life. Because you were coming up, you were still in England. Exactly, you moved to Scotland. You were coming up, you were still coming up and like chilling. I was skinny. I was budgeting. I was on a course. Not saying that my course is bad now, but I was on a course with all my friends. I was still like, I was living with my friends, but also for half the year, I was living with some randomers in Trinity Square, which I loved. I also went to 5 different countries that year. Which was like insane. We had the World Cup that year, which was mental. It was really hot. And then what happened?
And then
you moved to Scotland and everything went to shit. No, you moved to Devon and everything went to shit.
Well, I mean, Devon was pretty good for me, to be honest.
Wasn't for the rest of us.
I know. Man, why did I ever leave?
What, Stockton? I don't know.
Well, I know why I left Stockton.
I'm really upset, and I can't go into it on the podcast. But I've said this to you before. The year that you spent coming up and visiting me was probably the worst year of my life. See, actually, so I'd say 2018 was the best year of my life, and 2019 was the worst year of my life. And you came and visited me in 2019 lots. Well, it was like the academic years. So 2017 18 was the best, 2018 19 was the worst, and you visited me most in 2018 19. But if you were still in Stockton now and were visiting me now, I think we'd both have a much better. I think we'd have a much better time, and
Yeah,
I'm upset.
I think the best year of my life was possibly
2012,
I was gonna say 2003.
because you were still in Kenya.
Yep, yep.
You were
That's when I
part
was
of
still
my best
living.
year, Barney.
That's when I was just blind, like oblivious to capitalism, Tories, global warming.
You didn't know
know,
about Tories until at least 2015.
I don't know. I've always been raging against the machine, Zach. Ever
Oh,
since I can remember, I've been fighting the good fight. What
I
can
didn't know
say?
about politics until 2018. um,
Yeah. But anyway, I used to take £2, like £2 coins on my nights out.
I
When
remember.
I was working with the Chinese, I'd take all the £2 and I'd use them to buy drinks.
I remember Creeps was mint.
Yeah.
I do wish I could have a night out in Stockton, but have the living situation of Newcastle,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I hate going home with my family drunk.
Just in the morning, counting your cash to see how much you spent because you can't remember anything.
I used to see. This is the issue. The year that you came up to me, I would argue had a drinking problem. So you would spend a lot, drink a lot, and not remember anything. But I had a depression problem, which meant that I didn't really drink much and cried all the time.
I mean,
But now, I mean that's true, isn't it? But now,
yeah,
I'm
I think now
such.
you've just adopted a drinking coping mechanism.
Yes. Well, it was. I was going to say, was it 2019? See, this is why I think 2018. Well, it's all merged. It was a bad year, but the 2018-19 was bad. But then the 2019-20 was good because it works in academic years. And the 2019-20 is where, weirdly, I first discovered that if you get drunk in nightclubs, they're much better. For some reason, in foundation year, I knew this, and I used to get drunk and I used to have fun. Maybe because I was just less worrisome. I don't know what happened in the later years, but then I spent a year with you going to nightclubs and not getting drunk and hating every second. And then the freshers year of my second year of uni, I realized that if you got blackout drunk in these nightclubs, it was amazing.
Yep.
So I did that for like half a year until COVID hit.
Yeah.
And it was fucking fantastic.
Just looking back, even going into the clubs where double vodka was £2, I still used to take a hip flask full of gin.
No. We took like, well, that's a bit expensive. I remember I went to London with Emily and Ashling, and we went and got like, I think we got gin, was it gin and lemonade? No, it was rum and coke. Same foundation year, all I drank was rum. So we got these rum and cokes
Jack Sparrow wannabe.
Because I was a Jack Sparrow wannabe, and we got them in like Covent Garden, and I swear they were like £6 each for a single.
Yeah.
And like we got doubles up here for like what, £2-3?
What was that karaoke bar we went to, and I got a double vodka, and it was like £5.70, and I passed out.
I genuinely
you have to get the paramedic.
Genuinely, I saw Barney's ankles go weak when they said that. I remember that. You went, what? Fuck, I do. As much I hated nights out for a long time, you couldn't pay me to go on one, but now I do miss it a little bit. I did enjoy it.
Getting just drinking and just like, especially the 80s nights and the nights.
We did go on a few really good nights. There was a few nights where the depression didn't hit me.
Just chatting shit to random people in smoking areas.
I used to hate you in nightclubs. Oh,
man, I had such a good time.
See, I wish you were still here, and I wish nightclubs were open now and we were still doing that.
Waking up the next day in a pile of my own sick.
I don't think you could do that anymore.
No, I don't. I haven't drank this year.
That's see for all, everyone listening. That's good, but for me, I'm like that's really sad.
But that's because I got so fucked at New Year's.
Yeah,
I just drank so much, and I felt like shit for like the 1st of January this year. I was just absolutely fucked the whole day, and I've just decided it's not worth the hangovers now.
fair. I
I'll
don't
just do
know.
drugs
Ah,
instead.
yeah, yeah. I've been like that for a long time. No, I like. I think if everything was normal tomorrow and we went on a night out, I think if you came down alone, like, I don't think you could still do the old get blackout drunk and wake up when you're on sick. I
I
don't think you
don't
have
think
it
I
in
could.
you.
I remember. No,
That
I don't.
upsets
I
me.
don't have it in me because man, just even thinking about how much I used to drink makes me feel sick.
Do you remember I was really worried about you at one point, and you used to be like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." Looking back, do you see why I was worried?
Yeah, but also I, I lived. I came out the other side.
I'm not getting at this on the podcast.
You're better for it.
Nah, I think you're a pussy now. Um, finally, the last film on this list that I cried at, I've just realised that is false. About time. I'm gonna put this in. I want to put it in Goat.
Yeah, go for it. Because I was on
Goat,
the verge of tears when I watched it last week.
and it's very difficult. How good is it?
If I was on my own, I'd have been just sobbing my eyes out,
Literally
rolling around on the
same.
floor.
That's what I was like the first. I think I can't remember the first time I watched it. I was by myself, or if I was with Ashling, but I definitely was bawling my eyes out. I never normally do if I'm with people. I don't normally cry at movies when I'm with people. I can hold it in, but by myself, by golly, I'm dead.
It plays with your emotions so well that there are quite a few silly things in this film that
What about the scene with
don't
the
really
black? Do you want to
fit.
go to the blackout bar in London?
Yeah,
How weird is that?
you're definitely going to go in there and start squeezing people's bums.
Don't say. I had to edit out a clip from you from the podcast last week, which was wildly inappropriate. I'm not going to repeat it this week. Don't say
What was
anything. I'm not telling you. Well, basically, if anyone doesn't know, there's a scene which is meant to replicate like blindness. And by that, I mean it's all in pitch black. But like all the bar staff are blind, and like you go down into a pitch black dining area, and you have to eat all your food, and you like sit across from people in the dark. Maybe you don't sit across from people. Maybe that was just for the purpose of the film.
Yeah. In the way, I always thought that you'd just be sat at a table with whoever you're with,
Yeah, like most restaurants.
instead of just the waiter taking around just dropping you off wherever he fancies you.
Imagine I
So-
sat down. I was like, "Oh, this is nice, Barney," and you just weren't there. There's just two people like, all right, and I was like, "Barney," and you were the other fucking side of the restaurant.
Sat with the future love of my life, just hitting
Oh,
it off.
what do you mean? I'm sat the other side.
I'm right here. I always have been.
Barney, it's in the
I don't know,
dark.
the idea of eating food in the dark that I can't see is very
Well,
off-putting to me.
have you ever showered in the dark?
No.
Very, very strange experience. Pitch black showering. I've realised very dangerous because like you can't see anything slip, fall, crack your neck. But I've done it a few times. It's really fun.
Think of how much you could spice your life up just by turning the lights out. When you're driving, headlights off.
I knew there was a joke coming, but I was like, I legitimately agree with that. I was like, legitimately, you can spice up a lot of your life by just simply turning off the lights.
When I was living in Devon, when one of my housemates were going to the beach and he was driving, he was a doctor and it was pitch black and driving down like backcountry roads and he would like turn his lights off every now and then, and I was far from sober and it was like just a very surreal experience.
Oh my god, I would not want to do that. Fuck me.
Driving down country roads and they're pitch black, no lights, playing The Offspring at full blast.
What's The Offspring?
Pop punk band.
Wow, you're fucking edgy, aren't you?
What can I say?
Wait, is that the t-shirt you used to wear to every nightclub because you got so many compliments for it?
Yeah, it is.
I swear down, Barney was on the pole for like a solid year wearing this t-shirt because girls were always like, "Oh my god, I love Harry Potter."
I was like, me too.
Who's a Harry Potter now, bitch?
I used to. I was used to wear like film t-shirts. I just start chatting to random people.
It was always that one. I always remember it was that one. The girls would always be like, "Oh my god."
I also do like the color of it a lot.
You do like maroon.
I remember when I wore my Goonies t-shirt and your parents came around my house and I answered the door to your mum. And she went, "Oh, I hope you've seen the Goonies." And I was like, "Yes, don't worry." And then your dad came in. He went, "Have you even seen the Goonies?" I was like, "Yes." You don't need to gatekeep me, Baz.
What? See, they've never done that to me. But I mean, I suppose they know that I've seen all that sort of stuff. That's very funny. My final one is Hot Fuzz. I feel like it has to be on par with Shaun of the Dead.
I mean, yeah. In my gut tells me to put it in B.
See, I think most people have the nostalgia for Shaun of the Dead, but I have the nostalgia for Hot Fuzz. I'm sticking with my guns with A.
I think Hot Fuzz is more iconic than Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I can quote Hot Fuzz line for line, but I could only quote half of Shaun of the Dead.
Definitely gets quoted more.
Yeah, 100%. The last two are yours, so I'm going to give full power of attorney to you. Mm-hmm. The first one is Jojo Rabbit.
I want to put that in GOAT.
I would also put it in GOAT. This is also a film I've cried at.
Absolutely amazing.
Heart-wrencher. The best depiction of Hitler I've ever seen.
And the idea behind it.
Yeah.
How it sort of how it plays out and not sort of, I don't know, humanizes the Nazis.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't humanize the Nazis. It humanizes certain characters that have been caught up in the Nazi regime.
You're very PC. You're very good. It's funny because like you'll do this, I'm like, how Barney will never be cancelled, and I flashback to last week, and you're just making like rape jokes.
I did not make any rape jokes.
I don't
think so. Anyway,
not that I remember when I was drunk. No, that's awful. You did. It wasn't offensive to anyone, but you did. I had to edit it out. That's the joke I was on about. You insinuated that I didn't know what rape was.
I don't remember that at all.
I fucking do. I had to edit it out.
I'm not sure if that even ever happened.
That's right.
I think you're trying to gaslight me there.
Fuck's sake. The last one. No one's even listening to this part of the podcast anyway. The last one is The Nice Guys.
I think I would put that in B.
In B, mad.
Yeah. As much as I love it.
That's very strange.
I love it just because I'm very biased towards it.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just love the way it looks and the actors that are in it more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I do love it, and I remember the press tour for it, and they were very funny on that as well. That is the tier list for our top 10 films that aren't on the top 100 IMDb list of top 10 films. I hope everybody enjoyed that. It was very fun, very fun. What did you think, Barney?
I had such a great time. I'll be back next week.
I will be also back next week. We won't be talking about WandaVision, but we will be talking about something. I'm just not quite sure what yet. Do you have any final words to say, Barney?
Eat the rich.
Eat the Rich. I also will stick with Eat the Rich this week. Thank you. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Music, and just give us a good old poke on Facebook. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
With enough likes, Zach might be able to get his lip filler.
That is the goal. That is the goal.